Today, it's all about wheels and tires. We're gonna pop this front passenger wheel off this BMW M3. We're gonna wash it. We're gonna go through decontamination. We're gonna go ahead and touch up the coating on it. It's been on there for a little while, so we wanna make sure it lasts through the rest of the year. We're gonna tell you how to properly detail your tires and wheels and just kind of give you some tips and tricks in the process. So when it comes to jacking up an E92 M3, there are two side jack points, one at the front, one at the rear, and then there's two center jack points as well if need be, but this car is slightly lowered thanks to the adjustable MSS suspension on it, so we can't really fit a jack to that center jack point. We're just gonna jack up the edge here and then put a jack stand. Always recommend being safe, people, come on. And we're gonna put it under control arm under there just as a safety measure so it doesn't fall off, but let's go ahead and pop this wheel off then. Something to be conscious of: if your wheel does not sit behind the sidewall of your tire, you should not put the backside down because that will scratch it. Luckily for us, this one has the clearance. So when it comes to products that we're going to use to just clean these wheels like normal, we're going to use a wheel and tire cleaner and iron. Now we will talk about why this one's very important in a sec. We're also just going to use our standard wheel cleaning tools, a brush, a mitt, as well as a tire brush. First thing we're going to do is clean the face. This is going to be a product you want to spray onto a dry tire initially. Both wheel and tire cleaner from GYEON are the proper dilution in order to work the best they can. So we recommend the first one being a dry surface. We have a little bit stiffer brush here, a GYEON tire brush that we're going to use to just go ahead and agitate the product on the surface. And you can see all this brown, and that means that the tire is still dirty. That's removing all that blooming or browning that shows up on the face of a tire. That just inevitably happens over time. So since it's brown here, we're going to go ahead and rinse it off. We're also going to rinse the brush out, and then we're going to repeat this process as many times as necessary until those suds are white. There we go. You can now see that the suds are pretty white, like how they come out of the bottle. And this means that the tire is clean and we're ready to move on to the wheel face. So as with any wheel and tire cleaner, you don't want to let it dry on the surface. We're going to go ahead and agitate it after about a minute or so. And you want to pay a little bit more attention around like your valve stem. And luckily, because the wheel is off of the car, we don't have to use the bottle brush as much to get in the barrels because we're able to flip it. So this wheel mitt with the thumb right there, really nice for getting around spokes and getting into corners. This is going to be the main thing that we're going to use. So having the wheel off allows us to access all these different areas in here. We have this little channel that looks like a lot of dirt and stuff is collected in. Also allows you to access the inside wheel face of your car. You're not normally cleaning this when it's on your vehicle. Little tip for you: if you're going to apply a coating or a longer protection to your wheels, have them balanced first because, well, the coating's going to repel any sort of adhesive. So stick those on before you coat the wheels. Okay, so now the wheel looks completely clean to the eye, but what is still going to be embedded in this wheel is a little bit of metal particles. Mostly we're talking brake dust in this circumstance. So that's where iron comes into play. First, we cleaned the wheel, got a lot of the grime and the dirt off there with iron wheel cleaner. That's the heavy lifting for the cleaning. Now we're moving on to this, which is for decontamination, and that's going to help remove all of the embedded metal in this wheel. So as expected, when using iron on these, they look pretty good. That's just because, well, this car has been well maintained and well protected. There's not a ton of purpling on here, but also this new redefined iron smells way better than any previous one. It's just nice to have this clove scent versus the, we'll call it the egg scent of the past. We have a wheel stand. Now, the reason for this is because it's gonna bring it up to my arm level, allow me to work a lot more easily and a lot more efficiently. Also allows me to see closer to the wheel so I'm not bending over, which should prevent any sort of issues during the application process. Now we're gonna start things off with a couple products. First one's gonna be tar. If you drive through any sort of new asphalt or anything on the road, there's a chance it got spread under your wheel. You wanna use this before you coat the wheel and lock in that look. So you just wanna make sure it's completely clean because wheel cleaner might not remove everything. Then we're gonna do a prep degrease wipe. This is essentially an alcohol spray with a little bit more lubrication in there to prevent any sort of marring. And you wanna do this right before you coat the wheel because that will guarantee there's no fingerprints or oils or anything on the surface which could induce any sort of issues during the coating process. In addition to that, we're gonna use rubber gloves. So with tar redefined, we're gonna go ahead and use a bald wipe. Now the reason I'm using this is because it's a low pile towel. It's a little bit shorter. It's gonna basically allow you to work stuff a little bit harder and more aggressively, which if you run into any sort of tar spots, those can be a little bit of a pain to remove. Not with this product and not with the bald wipe. We're just gonna hit common areas and get into those crevices and corners. Another bonus thing with tar redefined is gonna be if there were any areas where there were previously wheel weights, but maybe they didn't get fully removed, this is gonna come in clutch. For prep, now this is a degrease spray like I mentioned. We're gonna go ahead and just mist it all over the wheel. Now, you should make sure through all of these processes that you're hitting the face as well as the barrel. So we can go ahead and hit the face, rotate the tire around, hit the back and the barrel, get the back of the spokes to make sure that we're doing the whole thing. And that's gonna be for tar, for prep, and for the coating process next. We're gonna use a soft swipe with this. You just wanna ensure basically, well, it's in the name, that anything you use at this step, you want it to be as soft as possible because you don't wanna induce any sort of marring or any damage to the surface before you lock it in with the coating. Don't forget to prep your center caps because we're gonna coat those as well. Wow. So now the wheel is completely prepared for coating. Now, like I mentioned, this wheel did get some ceramic coating, Rim Evo specifically, about 8 months ago or so, and we want to make sure that it lasts through this year. It's still beating pretty well, which you probably have seen in the wash shots, but we want to just guarantee that it lasts for the rest of this year, 2025. So to do so, we're actually going to use CanCoat Evo on there. Now, what all comes in this is going to be the bottle of product itself. You have sprayers to use it, and then you also have a single, and this is a low pile towel that's going to be similar to the bald wipe. This one just doesn't have any blue dye in it. Now, the process is going to be pretty straightforward. You can almost use this like a detail spray. Don't spray it directly on the surface. I will walk you through how to properly apply it, but it's going to apply so easily, and you get so many uses out of this single bottle of CanCoat, and I'll show you how easy it actually is. So a lot of times this product does get misused. You should spray into your towel and then apply it to the surface with the towel itself. You don't want to work in an area where there's a lot of wind, because there will be some overspray. Since this is an actual like spray nozzle on here, it does turn into a mist. And if you're working indoors with, say, the heat's on and there's a lot of air moving around, you could cause some overspray. But to kind of, defend against that, what you can do is actually like step away, I would say, a yard or so, or a meter if you're not in America, and go ahead and get it really close to the towel. We're gonna actually cup the towel to kind of contain the spray. And then we're just gonna do like 1, 2, 3, 4 sprays into the towel. And that's all it's gonna take to apply to this barrel of the wheel. So when it comes to actually applying the towel and the coating to the wheel, it's gonna be straightforward. We're basically just gonna spread it around. Almost like I said, you're using it almost like a quick detailer. You're gonna wipe the product, especially on a barrel that's just a flat surface. You got this indentation that you just need to press in to make sure it gets down in there. Go around the wheel weights. Simple as that. Flip the towel to the dry side and just kind of buff until you don't see any more residual coating. So what's crazy is this coating lasts over a year. Now, in the wheel area, it's maybe will be a little bit diminished just because it's not designed for that. There are specific wheel coatings like Removo from GYEON that will last over a year in that specific situation. But this product is so easy to use, and for the durability out of it, it's also safe to use on plastic, glass, not recommended for windshields. I mean, your trim, your paint, it's a fantastic product, and you get a lot in the bottle, and it's very, very versatile. So when you're doing the face of a wheel, especially one like these 359M OEM BMW comp wheels, there's a lot of spokes, and you just want to take your time to get behind and into all these corners, because if you miss a corner, the corners are usually where brake dust collects and it's difficult to get off. So the corners are almost more important than the face, in my opinion. Just take your time. Like I said, we're also going to do the center cap itself. So as a safety measure, and it's not necessarily required, I usually like to do it just to guarantee there's no high spots, or what that is you didn't get all the coating, the solvent carrier wiped off, so there's gonna be kind of like a dark spot on there. I'm gonna go ahead and follow it up with a clean soft wipe, just to make sure that there's no residual coating still left on the wheel. So to finish the tire off, we are actually going to apply tire. This is the SiO2 infused tire dressing. We have 2 available, the other one's Tire Express. This one we consider an actual tire protectant. You should get about 3 to 4 washes with this product, but to make sure that it lasts that long and gives us a nice OEM matte look, we're going to use a heat gun. We're going to just heat up this tire. We're not talking hot. You're not trying to melt the rubber, obviously. You want to get it nice and warm, which opens up those pores, and that will absorb the tire into there, yielding better results. So let's go ahead and get this heat pumping. Luckily, another benefit for us is we do have this roller here, which allows you to heat and just keep slowly rotating the tire. This wheel stand is very, very useful. And I don't have the heat gun on its highest setting. Like I said, we're not looking to melt anything, just heat up this sidewall. You also don't technically need a heat gun if you're in like Arizona or Texas or somewhere where it's like over 100 degrees outside. Put your car outside for a little bit, let the tires heat up naturally, That will actually work better because that'll actually get the core temp of the tire elevated, and then apply your tire dressing. And after a couple minutes, the sidewall is now up to temp where we want it. We're gonna go ahead and use a tire applicator to apply this dressing. It's a nice little curved guy, and it shouldn't take too much of the actual tire itself. Just a couple pumps here, and this is a new bottle, so we're just gonna work it out. I'm gonna go ahead and just do like 3 or so, and then I'm gonna blot it in a couple areas. So we can go ahead and put a little bit there, a little bit in this spot, a little bit in this spot. And I'm just gonna, once again, use this wheel stand and just work it, rotate the tire. Work it up and down, side to side, and make sure you get in all these different textures and shapes. And since we're doing it right, we're gonna go ahead and get in here where the tire actually seats to the wheel to make sure that this whole face of the tire looks its best. Soaking in pretty nicely. It's going back to that kind of like brand new tire look that I think we kind of prefer, at least we do here at GYEON. After this, it's time to go back on the car. So before we put the wheel back on, I want to talk to you about a couple things in the wheel well area. Now, normally when it's on there, you can't access or can't clean these areas well. So this would be a good time if you wanted to clean your wheel wells. You can use trim cleaner in there and coat them with Trim Evo. You can also clean your brake caliper and maybe coat that with Rim Evo. Get access to all these suspension bits. Maybe you have some nice coilovers in the car and you want them to look all clean. This is the time to do that. But for now, we're just gonna put this wheel back on. Keep this wheel on the car and do it properly. Look up your torque specs, make sure they're good to go. And last but not least, we have our coated center cap. Voila. I know it's a bit inconvenient to take your wheels and tires off, but we want them to look their absolute best, and this is the way to do it. Now, it's time for more coffee.